As we stand there are chunks of flesh in the street. There are pools of blood in people's homes. There are people burying their brothers, their sisters, their parents, and burying their children. There are nearly 1 million Iraqis who have been buried since this war of liberation. But that staggering number does not come close to the number of Iraqis who have suffered. Those who have been killed do not have to endure years of torture and denial of human rights in detention camps. They do not have to be woken up in the middle of the night by soldiers raiding their homes. They do not have to live every day in fear. Those who have been killed do not have to live with the pain of losing their families to violence. They do not have to live with the horrific injuries that have crippled so many families. They do not have to suffer birth defects from depleted uranium. They do not have to suffer psychological trauma from seeing death day after day. They do not have to flee their homes, flee their villages, and flee their country to escape this brutal occupation. Every day that this war rages on, it becomes more and more clear that this war will not be ended by our government. It will not be ended by any vote or any election. This war must be ended the same way the war in Vietnam was ended. There will be no more civilians shot if soldiers refuse to pull the trigger. There will be no more bombs dropped if pilots refuse to fly. There will be no more missiles fired if sailors refuse to push the button. This is how the war in Vietnam was ended. When the government showed no signs of abandoning its plans for an endless, illegal war, the people took to the streets. The more the anti-war movement grew, the more people woke up to the crimes of this government. Most importantly, it touched and empowered the soldiers who were sent to spread imperialism. By the thousands, U.S. soldiers sabotaged their own ships, planes, and equipment. They refused to go on missions, refused to kill, and refused to follow moral orders given to them by this government. And they refused to be silent. They exposed the crimes of their occupation, formed the huge community war resistors. Over 500,000 GIs turned against the military during Vietnam. Over 500,000 soldiers proclaimed that they would no longer take part in an illegal and immoral war. By throwing their bodies into the gears of the war machine, the war was stopped. It was not stopped by a politician, but by the people. But this did not happen overnight. It was born from action after action by outraged citizens. Every single march led to the end of that war. Every single sit-in, every demonstration, speech, article, and song led to the end of that war. Every single activist, volunteer, and organizer brought down that war. Today, as we stand here, we're beginning to win this war against imperialism. Every day, the resistance within the military is growing. The more the movement grows and struggles here at home, the more soldiers will feel empowered to resist. Within the military is only possible with a dedicated, militant anti-war movement giving strength and inspiration to war resistors. I will tell every soldier I can to refuse to fight, but my words will go nowhere without a movement behind me. I will tell every soldier that this war only serves the interests of those aid corporations who profit from the blood of both GIs and Iraqis. I will tell every soldier that we were lied to. I will tell every soldier that if they are going to pick up a rifle, do not point it at the citizen of a country that has been beaten and raped by U.S. imperialism. If they are going to pick up a rifle, do not carry it to continue the oppression and murder of a nation. If they are going to pick up a rifle, point it at the real terrorists, point it at the CEOs and lobbyists and politicians who have created unimaginable suffering. We may feel powerless to stop this war. We may feel powerless to stop the coming war with Iran. But the masses cannot be ignored. We must, by any means necessary, make these demands be heard. Not one more dollar spent on this war of aggression. Not one more bullet fired in the name of imperialism. Not one more child killed for a fake democracy. Not one more soldier coming home in a coffin. Not one more missile fired. Not one more prisoner tortured. Not one more drop of blood spilled. Not one more family made homeless. Not one more day of this fucking occupation.
but that we have to take it.
Porque hemos creado la conciencia, el compromiso para un cambio. Nosotros estamos por la justicia porque queremos paz.
So today we have created the consciousness and the commitment that's going to lead us to a change. And we're here to say that we want justice because only through justice are we really going to have peace.